Everybody, it's Invictus. Time nothing run here. The Binding of Isaac Victor Repentance Plus series. Happy Monday, Mosh Pit. We did have another video crossing 3,000 likes. This one actually almost to 9,000 likes now. I'm talking about one of the YouTube shorts for making it possible. So thank you very much. Whether you're a subscriber or not here for making that happen. Yes, I do count all videos on my channel, including like the patch notes updates, the tier list, all that kind of stuff. All those go towards the Isaac like streak. So if you want to support the channel and you want to go also watch some older videos, definitely check it out, because I have a chart that shows what everything was before and now, and hopefully will be if the Mosh Pit decides to show up for it. Again, thank you all very much for all that support. Here's your cookie of the day, submitted here by Prototype376 on the Invictus subreddit. Top thread was the Isaac cookie, and then in the thread I said, my face when chat tells me that broken modem is good but needs this and 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 this. Yeah, that was my contribution. I think the original one was funnier. So thank you very much, Prototype, and everyone who upvoted that one. Let's hop on in. I know we had a short episode yesterday. Not everyone likes shorter episodes, but honestly I kind of need it. Oh no. Papa Whiskey Zulu Bravo Sierra Tango 82. We're starting with Blood Oath and Delirious. Woof. Okay, well, now on top of all that, we're also starting with very bad tiers. Decent damage, 3.52 is actually pretty much on par. Bad shot speed, but not too bad, and meh range. No, it. All right. I'm going to take number 2, but I'm not happy about it. So we've got items here that all of these items are pretty much none that I like. Delirious is just straight up dangerous because it does tend to block the screen with stuff. Number 2 is also, of course, very dangerous because if you didn't know what it does, if you hold down the fire button without depressing it, and then after I think it's like 3 or 4 seconds of holding down the fire button, Isaac will lay a butt bomb. Now, unlimited bombs does seem kind of nice. Like, it seems like that'd be cool. But whenever you're in the middle of a firefight and you really am not expecting it nor needing something to just pop out of nowhere, well, I mean, we know where it pops out of, but you know what I mean. And then Isaac, could potentially die. Yeah, it's bad. And then you throw that on top of everything else. We also have Blood Oath, which is, in theory, you would think it's a pretty decent item because it basically just takes your excess, not excess, it takes all of your red hearts down to 1/2 red heart and gives you damage based on how many hearts it takes away. At the start, this is at the start of every single floor. So you're like, oh, hey, that's not too bad. I mean, we usually have soul hearts and that sort of stuff. And yeah, that's right. We usually do. But what if we don't? Well, then what happens is that Blood Oath takes away all of your HP and you're just left to kind of just hope you don't die. So is this a bad start? Yeah, it's not great. But there are some practical applications of number 2. Namely, you can pretty much nuke the entire room without ever having to move, except to dodge the explosion, obviously. All right. Need to be careful of Hematemesis here. We got Vert. Also, apparently, I don't know how I'm just now learning this. It's because I basically just don't pay attention. But supposedly, any stat or any effect that you get from a golden pill that you see, it basically means that they are not in your pill pool. So if you go through an entire golden pill like I am right now, all the stuff that you see on the screen right now are not in our respective pool. So we technically, theoretically anyway, should be seeing a pill effect now that was not in that golden pool. And your guess is as good as mine. I'm going to hold off on that soul heart for now. We can actually use Delirium a whole bunch here, or Delirious, I should say. Okay. Well, that wasn't supposed to happen. So the new Delirious, oh my god, this is insane. The new Delirious basically means that whatever it summons, whichever version of Delirium that it summons, it's going to persist until it's dead now, instead of just being one room, which was the worst idea ever. That one was anyway. But this one here, I do kind of see... the appeal of this one, except some of the... There's two major reasons why I don't like Delirious, even now. The main reason... Oh, of course we get Dingle, by the way. We can't use our butt bombs against Dingle because it heals him. So, yeah, we need to make sure that number 2 does not go off. This whole first floor is just a nightmare. Also, we have double... I'm excited. This is... Dude, don't even ask me what's going on anymore. I basically have to pulse fire right now because I don't want Dingle to heal. So the first thing I don't like about Delirious is that the cooldown, it adjusts to whatever delirium that you spawn. Okay, so like the bigger ones, like the in-game bosses, are 12. The hollow that we had there, you saw, was like 6 or something like that, and then we have the gate, or Mega Maw, which is, what is that? It's like, is that 12? I don't think it's 12. Not quite 12. Anyway, so that's problem number 1. Problem number 2 that I don't like about Delirious is that some of the spawns, not all of them, some of the spawns will actually shoot at Isaac and not enemies, okay? So that's another big problem. The third biggest problem, and this one's probably the most, I would say, most egregious problem that Delirious has, is the fact that some of the Delirium spawns will actually spawn real enemies against you. Okay, so for example, and you can test this if you'd like to, it was either, I'm pretty sure it was either Husk or Duke, Delirious Husk or Delirious Duke that it spawned for me. I was like, oh, you know, maybe we'll get some charm flies or whatever, which was fine. It may have been Teratoma. It was one of the big floaty bosses. I'll tell you about in a second. Is one of the big floaty bosses, and when it died, it spawned real bomb flies on my run. This happened on stream, and as you can imagine, I expressed my displeasure with the situation. I was quite perturbed at the time. So yeah, that instantly made any hope of Delirium or Delirious being a somewhat usable item to an absolute still blacklisted item. I can't have my active items actively work against me to the point of not only shooting at me, but also spawning enemies, real enemies, in otherwise what would be considered a safe room. So, yeah. I think that even after the change, I don't even want to call it a buff, really. Even after the change, I think that Delirious is still a bad item. Now, is it usable for Judging of Isaac? I don't know. I don't know what that sound was I just made, but this is me mulling it over. But no, I don't think that there is anything that Delirious could do in its current iteration that would make me be like, yeah, you know, there's some redeeming qualities to it. No, it's not. But we'll see. We'll see. Also, I really need this Mega Maw to die because it's blocking like a good 1/8 of the screen. And it's already caused me to walk into one fire. I don't want to do it again. It also doesn't help that it's spawning right next to the door. We have a lot of problems on this run right now. The biggest one being the lack of tears rate. 2.13 is pathetic. We did gain a whole lot of movement speed thanks to the golden pill, and we gained a whole lot of other crap. No good stats that I saw, but I mean, we got something. We go on to last week's question of the episode here on the God's Milk episode, coming in from Nobody You Know Bud, who said, by the way, being a YouTube member, thank you very much for being part of the YouTube Mosh Pit MVPs. Question of the day: you talk a lot about changes that are pro player, like getting 15 cents when bombing your donation machine. What are your anti-player opinions? Things that make the game harder, like more curses, etc., etc. So I think what they're getting at. Hey, we got a Tears upgrade. what they're getting at is, you know, do I have any anti-player or what would be maybe considered anti-player opinions that I would like to see implemented. We want gaming conception. I mean, we could get D-Bizzle and Incubus, so we have enough excess HP. I guess it's fine. Still don't know where the secret room is though. Super secret room might be here. So, as far as anti-player opinions go, one of the ones, this one's probably going to be a little controversial because it doesn't seem very Sinvicta to some people. But I think that there should be, in a way, not to an extreme level, of course, but I think that the game could stand to have a little bit more danger from regular mobs. HP loss range down. We got Tears Up. And what I mean by that is I think that it would be fine for some champion mobs to deal more than 1 heart of damage. Now, there are super champions in the game that will deal 2 hearts of damage, and I would like to see more of that. I think that keeps the players on their toes. I don't want the game to be hardcore, like one-hit death. I think that's dumb. But some other variants of the champions could deal even more damage than that. I mean, like mega ultra champions. But I would want to see, I would want to see them be rare. I mean, very, very rare. Whether they have a custom sprite, whether they have custom music or a custom room, like you might randomly find. But the flip side to that would be if you do encounter one of these ultra champions, you'd be rewarded by getting an item. Dude, I have no clue where the hell this item room is at this point, or this secret room. I'm gonna try one more inside of the item room. I should have known that wasn't there because it couldn't spawn next to this skinny room. All right, yeah, I don't care. You win game. I literally could not care less where these secret rooms are. So I think that would provide a good training tool for any Isaac player of any level, is to have really, really, really high danger mobs. I'm talking regular mobs show up, albeit very rare, very sparingly. But if you do end up beating them, you get an item. You get like maybe, I don't know, you don't have to add extra items into the game, like unique items. Just make it to where it's like, you know, yeah, they can drop a treasure room item or something like that, or hell, even a boss item. That would be nice. You know, having that kind of stuff, that randomness of danger, but also the reward is appealing to me. As far as curses go, like an anti-player curse that I think that I would be in favor of, it would be along the same lines. I did not mean to use that telepills. Along the same lines of what we're talking about, I would like to see a curse of the champions, or curse of the champion, where it would not be just for one floor. It would be for your entire run. And every room that you clear increases a hidden value that over time accumulates to eventually you're going to see this champion, this like Satan's champion or whatever. Once it crosses the threshold, then he can appear at any time in any room, including boss rooms. I think that would be terrifying, but also would be kind of sick in a way to see that sort of like, it's almost like an ARPG level of randomness there, where you have this God, we're just getting, we can't get lucky. We can't get a break with number 2 here. Number 2 is an absolute terrible pickup, but what can you do? So a curse of the champion, you would start, like, you would know it. Like, it wouldn't be something that was totally hidden from you. On floor 1, or you can activate it, maybe have like a pedestal or something that you can sacrifice 1 heart to start the countdown. Luck. We have negative luck, by the way. -4 luck. Maybe that's the reason why we're not getting anything. So you would know it. There would be some sort of indicator, either music or you know, or like an icon that shows up on your map or something like that. Some kind of way of knowing that you are inflicted with Curse of the Champion. And then eventually, after every single room, eventually you will run into this champion, Satan's champion or Lucifer's champion, whatever you want to call them. And they're really, really like awesome looking boss. Like they've got like unique skills, and we're talking like high level danger. And the chance of you running into this champion increase. It starts off at like, I don't know, let's say like 0.01% of a chance, but that means that you technically could run into him. There is a non-zero chance that you could run into this champion in any room that you go into, up until you kill him. And then after you kill the champion, you would get the Blessing of Light or something like that, or God's Blessing, which is a massive, massive all stats up, or maybe a unique item that is just super, super godly. You know, you don't want it to be like overly OP, because then everyone's just going to do Curse of the Champion just every single run. But you know, something that would be well worth, proportional to the amount of danger that you faced and how hard the champion would be. I think that would be cool. Yeah, Mr. Dolly, another range and luck upgrade, or range and tears upgrade here. And we get a Krampus play. We're never going to use this Diplopia, are we, game? You're just not going to give me a chance to use it, are you? I see it coming from a mile away. See, the Blood Oath is still, it's doing, you know, we're not in danger right now, but that's not the point when it comes to Blood Oath. The point is the times that you are in danger. Get a Gulp pill, which didn't do anything. Gulp is like a trinket smelter, by the way, if you didn't know what the Gulp pill does. So now, going back to number 2, there are obviously ways that you can play around it. You don't have to hold down the fire button. So, you know, if you really, 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 truly did not want to deal with number 2, you could theoretically negate it totally by just firing 3 shots and then pulling off the target. Like right now, I'm doing that, and you can't really see any difference between my fire rate compared to me just holding down the button. But for rooms like this where I really don't feel like chasing around the dark grubs and playing around this stupid statue, then we'll just sit back in a corner and just nuke everything in the room. So there are some redeeming qualities for number 2. They're just kind of few and far between. But I would say that there are items like number 2. The fact that there's a counterplay to them is nice, because it gives you something to practice, and also if you can get good at it, then you can start dropping nukes whenever you want without ever really being in danger of hitting yourself. Wow, we got cancer again. 5.72 on the tiers now. I'm down for that. We need some damage. We get Brittle Bones here. So Brittle Bones, you know, very briefly, I thought about Diploping Brittle Bones. How great would that be? We could have 12 bone hearts essentially that we could burn through for a huge, massive tears rate upgrade. And really the only problem now, and it's not even really a problem that much, I would say, but it will become a problem eventually, is just the lack of damage here. 5.42 is still passable up until next floor, then it becomes a problem. I pulled off the firing there so we can get a butt bomb, but if what's counterproductive here with butt bombs is that, or with number 2, is that if you have a high tears rate, and you're moving, chances are you're probably going to end up dropping the bomb in front of you, and then Isaac will inadvertently shoot the bomb in a weird direction that could potentially get you hit. Now, if we had Pyromaniac, brother, then it's all gravy, baby. Like, we don't have to worry about anything at all. We are unkillable. Might be wondering why I'm not nuking my tears rate right now with the brittle bones, is because we may have a devil deal here that we have to take. Use a bomb here. Oh, more bombs, great. I know the super Seagroom's here. I also just wanted to nuke the boss. Another tears rate, okay. All right, now we're getting a little ridiculous game. You may notice that Blood Oath did not go off on this floor, and the reason behind that is because we wouldn't have any more red hearts left. And bone hearts are a little, it functions like red heart upgrades, like red heart containers. If we had more than one half of a red heart inside the bone hearts, it would still deduct it as normal. But because they're bone hearts and we already have 2 empty ones, Blood Oath recognizes that, oh wait, I can't activate here, because if I did, then the player would have 0, and then we can't do that. Even the game has some limits. I take telepills. I highly doubt. I mean, we have about a no. It's 0% chance. I'm not gonna even try to make it boss rush. There's no way that we're gonna make that. Of course, you have to be careful. The danger of using a telepills if you haven't completed the entire floor is whenever if you do use it. Gemini. I don't like Gemini at all, really, because of the fact that it can. It's just a lack of controlling your damage. You know, you think about rooms that have not barrels, but you think about rooms that have explosive enemies, or ones that spawn bomb flies or something like that, and it decides to attack that one that's close to you instead of the one that's far away. It's bad, and it could prove lethal. I know that may seem a little overly cautious, but think of how many times we're sitting here in a late game situation where we really cannot afford to take any more damage, and then all of a sudden, you know, we walk into a room with bomb flies and Gemini decides to hit it. That's added maneuverability that we cannot afford to have, or danger. But yeah, you don't really want to take telepills unless you know you're done with the floor, because it does have a chance to take you to the Ayamera room. Champion belt here. I'll also take Soul Heart. Champion belt's gonna give us a nice little damage upgrade. Nothing crazy, but take it. Yeah, so that right there, what you just saw was what I was talking about earlier with the high tears rate and butt bombs. Number 2. I need to stop calling it butt bombs. It's not butt bombs' fault. It's number 2's fault. I see the butt bomb and I say butt bomb, but I don't mean butt bomb because I mean number 2, not butt bomb. And it's gonna be Gish. I'm calling it right now. We're not going to get a chance. We won't get a good chance to use Diplopia. I'm just now accepting it. It's still better than having Delirious, though, in my opinion. And 3%. So now Blood Oath is going to activate. Notice how it took us down to an empty heart container now. Because having a whole heart there instead of a half heart is much different in Blood Oath's mind. So now if we go to the next floor, Blood Oath would not activate on just one half heart, because it's not enough to it's not enough for it to register. It has to have one full heart. At least one full heart to go off there. We did get Demon Baby, which, by the way, I think I'm pretty sure, actually, now that I think about it, Blood Oath and Cambion Conception is a little bit of a synergy there. Because technically speaking, it does count as Isaac taking damage, so... Now, of course, there is... I should mention that there is another way to play around number 2, and it's the more simpler version. Simply just not letting go of the fire button. That will make sure... Yeah, why not? We don't have enough money. We have enough money for the shop anyway. It's our 100% devil deal. So once you lay that initial butt bomb from number 2, as long as you don't pull off the trigger, you won't lay another one. But that also provides a little bit of an issue because there are many times where you wouldn't want to just continually fire in a boss room, especially if you're trying to control your outgoing damage, which we always talk about here. But notice how changing directions you can do that without really having fear. We need more damage. With this tears rate, yeah. Mom's knife. I don't honestly remember if Mom's knife cancels out number 2. I want to say it doesn't, but I also kind of want to say that this is a bad idea. Okay, yeah, it definitely doesn't. Reason why I'm thinking it might be a bad idea is because we can't hold down Mom's knife like a regular tier. Like we have to let go in order to fire it. So what we're doing is really activating number 2 pretty much every single time that we fire Mom's knife. There's no way to have that continual holdout. Sharp key is not a terrible idea if we can end up getting that money, but yeah, you see what I mean here. So in order for us to actually use Mom's knife, we have to let go of the fire button. And in my brain, I was like, what is the reason why this is a bad idea? And I couldn't remember why, and that's the reason. So now we have no way of playing around number 2. It's just going to be a part of our life from here on out. Unfortunately, we don't have any red heart containers, but we might be able to get an HP upgrade, maybe through, I don't know, maybe through an Eternal Heart or 2. It could be useful, or we'll get Debizzle. We are going to be taking lots of damage from number 2, and of course from Blood Oath as well, so... Now, as long as we get the hit off in time, we shouldn't see too many butt bombs show up from number 2. And also, yes, of course, we need the red heart containers in order for us to actually activate Blood Oath, which is going to cause us to take damage and also trigger Bloody Lust, which is going to give us a stacking damage buff for the floor until we go down to the next floor. This up to a certain point. There is a cap. No cap. On God, FR, FR. I don't hate the flat penny here. I actually don't like a high tears rate for Mom's knife. This room, dude. I also gotta remember that we don't have the Polaroid, so yeah. Secret room's here. A very odd spot. If we get a bunch of keys here, I'll go back and pick up the cancer trinket. Because we still could get brimstone or something, so that does actually benefit pretty nicely from a tears rate upgrade. Only got 2 keys. Alright, I guess I'll take the cancer trinket. I mean, the cancer trinket is the better of the 2 trinkets. I was just thinking we're outside the box here. If we're gonna be stuck with a mom's knife run, no pun intended there, then you know, I don't like having a high tears rate, like too overly high for mom's knife. Main reason is I feel like I'm less accurate with it because it just charges so fast. I can't line up my shot in time. Good damage there, Mr. Fred. I mean, hey, at least you heard me call it from like what, floor 3 or 4, that we were never going to use Diplopia on this run. The trap. It's a trap. All right, 73%. This is like the 4th floor in a row now where we've gone to the right and it's been a dead end. And me having to reposition myself because of number 2 directly caused me to dodge downward like that. Yeah, no, there's no good reason to pick up number 2. Unless if you have some kind of explosion immunity. Pretty much it. Even under the most dire circumstances, I would rather have no bombs than have to deal with number 2. But it's one of these kind of scenarios where it's like, okay, well, you know, maybe it's up for a judging of Isaac, but then the way that I would sort of have it would be, well, if we want to give it the best chance to succeed and the ultimate benefit of the doubt, then I would give myself explosion immunity. And then it's like, well, then, and people are like, well, that just makes it no fun. Like, okay, well, but we're trying to make the item, we're trying to make it like in a realistic scenario where, let's say the best case scenario where you have number 2, but you also happen to pick up explosion immunity. Then it becomes a powerhouse. Is that strong enough to carry you through a run? I don't like what we're seeing right now. I really don't. We're taking too much damage. And taking the negative was a big mistake here. Demon baby, you're killing me, dude. Perfect example of talking about controlling your outgoing DPS. The egglets are my absolute bane for this run because we gotta fire off mom's knife fast enough to kill the egglets, but then we also need to pull off the trigger so we don't trigger number 2. And the game just keeps on spawning him. A moon card. We're never, I mean, this, if we end up spawning D-Bizzle, this Queen of Hearts could save our life. Assuming we just don't get screwed and get 1 heart out of the 20. We have a 78% chance. Surely we don't fail another high 70 roll, right? And we're just going to get 9 lives. 9 lives, Guppy's, I don't know, Guppy's hairball. And we're all going to live happily ever after, right? 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 We could get Leviathan here. Leviathan would give us flying for Shoal. Or we could risk it and wait until the dark chest for Diplopia. We've already been debated enough into holding on to Diplopia this long. Just give me the flying. We don't work in the speculative market here. Again, another dead end, right? As soon as we go to the right. Man, I need to start going. I need to stop going to the right. That does seem to be my go-to direction on almost every single floor. Yeah, we don't work in the speculative market here when it comes to Isaac. And especially when we're talking about the chance of us getting something. We're not going to leave it up to chance on Isaac. Okay, let's stop this. I had no idea the secret room was there. It went straight to Stanley, thankfully. Really, what's got me thrown for a loop right now is having to play around number 2. And normally I would have laid the bomb and already pre-charged my knife, but we can't do that because if I do that now, we drop the butt bomb and then we got to move. And the only way to move when you're against a wall is away from the wall, which is right towards Stanley. So having to play around number 2 here has really caused us a lot of problems. So let's see if Diplopia would have gotten anything here in the dark chest. No, 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 and no. Okay, so we did a good thing there. We can take Heartbreak, which would pretty much wrap up this run. So whenever we take lethal damage, we won't die. We'll instead just spawn a broken heart. Up until the point where we can't do it anymore, then we will actually die. You're not immortal, of course, but that should wrap things up nicely. And of course, we gain a little bit of a damage upgrade as well. I mean, more HP doesn't hurt. It's not like we have polar invincibility, so it's not a huge deal for us to lose the negative effect. It's just a Necronomicon effect whenever we take damage. So you saw Demon Baby and Little Gish right there. I was simply just trying to hold down the fire button while keeping Mom's Knife charged, and it was still causing them to fire. Well, Little Gish anyway. We can't control Demon Baby. Nice block there by Pretty Fly. That was something I haven't even acknowledged up until now, is that during those golden pill spams that we had on floor 1 or whatever, we actually gained we pretty much gained Halo of Flies, which is pretty nice. Probably saved us a hit or two that I didn't get credited for. You might as well take it. Hey, look at that. So at the end of the day, we learned that there's absolutely, like, how many hearts would we have gotten, by the way?
Queen of
like
Hearts.
if D-Bizzle was feeling nice, we would have gotten maybe 2 soul hearts out of that. At the end of the day, we learned 2 things about this run. First off is that there are no redeeming qualities for the new Delirious. I think that one just needs to go back to the drawing board, or they just need to make it a flat 6-room cooldown, or maybe even have that, maybe like a 3-room cooldown, if they really want it to be madness. But I still think you're not going to be able to get around the visibility issues with Delirious, and it's just not a good item. So hopefully maybe it gets changed one day, but I doubt it. And secondly, don't ever take number 2, or at least I'm not going to take it unless we have Let's have some kind of explosion immunity because it did cause us a lot of problems here. Again, there are workarounds, and me taking Mom's knife did put me in that situation, so I'll take the blame for that. But you know, even then, I don't like it. It's just like any other item that exists in Isaac that you have to play around, like broken modem, like Isaac's heart, like number 2. It's just it's very flow breaking for me. Even Kidney Stone, in a way, you have to kind of play around, but Kidney Stone's not really a danger. Outside of a couple of instances where you would try to have a tear come out to push stuff away from you, but that's beside the point. Anyway, it's just too much of an obstacle in the regular rigmarole of a usual run for me to enjoy it. You can play around it, but I prefer not to. So why even pick it up unless you're forced to have it like we did today? But if you enjoyed this episode, make sure you click the like button, leave a comment down below, everybody. I love the discussions, love all the stuff going on in the comment section. People leaving their streaks down below and starting new ones as well. I try to heart as many as I can. Now, of course, I do read everything too. So thank you for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure you click the like button, leave a comment down below. If you want to mega help this episode, then of course, thank you for watching at a 0.75 playback speed here for the YouTube algorithm. And as always, I'll see you all next time. Have a happy Monday, everybody, and we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for watching this video. I'd like thanks to patrons of mine like Raphael Lindemann, Oliver Wendt, and Dina. If you'd like to have your name read at the end of an Isaac episode, check out my Patreon campaign, which you can find at patreon.com/Invicta.